Hi, I'm Matt Rosenberg, the writer of Punisher and Secret Warriors and Tales of Suspense and the upcoming Phoenix Resurrection and Four Kids Walk Into a Bank and We Can Never Go Home and a lot of other stuff, but I'm going to stop now. And I'm here at Midtown Comics, and this is my pull list. My first pick is Violent Love, which is a romance crime comic, two things that I think we don't get enough of, by Mr. Frank Barberi and Mr. Victor Santos. And it is a crazy, beautiful, super fun book from Image Comics. Volume 1 is out now, it's $9.99. There's just not enough books like this on the shelf, and Frank and Victor are two of the best creators working in comics. I can't recommend this enough. If you don't read romance comics or you don't read crime comics, you owe it yourself to pick this book up. It is brilliant. And I'm going to drop it. Is that good?
Yeah, you can actually keep.
Just keep going?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's just keep going. My second choice is Lone Wolf and Cub Omnibus. Dark Horse put out these awesome, super thick omnibuses that are not very expensive. They're $19.99. For a ton of comics. And Lone Wolf and Cub is, if you've never read it, is one of the greatest comics ever made. They made movies, they did all this stuff, but the comics is where it starts. And it is a beautiful story of a man and a child wandering the feudal Japanese countryside. It's gripping, it's crazy. If you love, Frank Miller, if you love, adventure comics and anything like that, this is a must-read. I have Volume 2 here because they were sold out of Volume 1 because it's that good that someone already bought it. So there's no specific reason. You should start with Volume 1, obviously. My next pick is Stray Bullets by David Lapham. It is, in my mind, one of the best comics ever made. It is, I would not be writing comics if it weren't for Stray Bullets. It is a black and white crime story that has been going since the early 90s, on and off. Stray Bullets is about as beautiful as comics get. David Lapham's art, he does more with a black and white image than most, in a panel, than most comics manage to do in a whole series. And he's just a master storyteller. It's a story of just the way violence impacts people's lives and how it has a ripple effect through everybody. So it features all these different characters, and it's this kind of wandering sort of story, and it's just this immersive world. It's a beautiful, sad, funny, crazy book. There's nothing else like it. There probably won't ever be anything else like it. And probably a good number of the comics you love steal directly from this. I know I steal from it all the time because it is that good. And at some point, I will have to give David Lapham a lot of money, which would be awesome. My next pick is Hawkeye number 12. Kelly Thompson, this issue, guest artist Michael Walsh, Jordi Belair on colors. There's an ad for one of my books. And Kelly is one of the best writers at Marvel, bar none. This is one of the best books they have going. This issue specifically is a team up with the Wolverines and Hawkeye, and it's just a comic that's so full of heart and spirit and fun and pure crazy awesome. Michael Walsh, most underrated comics artist working in comics right now. He just did an issue of Spectacular Spider-Man that is my favorite issue of the year, but he's on this. It's beautiful, it's awesome, it's full of heart, and yeah, I think it's, easily one of the best books Marvel's publishing right now. And I read all of them, and I like a lot of them, so that is high praise. My next pick, I picked the Brian Michael Bendis Crime Noir Omnibus. If you go to the comic shop this weekend and happen to have an extra $125, This is a good pickup. It's really awesome to hit people with. It's a good book to read in the bath if you like to do that. It weighs like 72, 74 pounds. Brian's crime comics are, I'm talking a lot about crime comics. Brian's crime comics are the reason I write comics as much as Stray Bullets. He's the writer who made me want to be a comics writer. And this collects all of them, pretty much, the early stuff, the pre-Marvel stuff. So it's Goldfish and Jinx and Torso's in here, I believe. I might have made that up. No, it's in here. Yay, I got that right. I have all this stuff in various editions and single issues and trades, and I still bought this because it's a nice new printing, and there's some bonus stuff, and there's some hard-to-find stuff. And it's no one else does this. No one else does what he does. And if you want to see why Brian is, I think, the most important comic writer of the last 20 years, this is where it starts. And this is all the explanation you need. You read this and you realize that this is the early 90s, and he's still 20 years ahead of what anyone else is doing, even back then. So yeah, buy this book, save up, mow some extra lawns, do whatever you need to do to get another $125. See if you can get it cheaper. Negotiate with your comic book shop. That doesn't work, don't do that. My next pick is Black, from Black Mass Studios. It's one of my favorite books of the year. It is a awesome black and white comic about a world where only black people get superpowers. And it's rare that you can say that a comic is important outside of the importance in the industry. This is an actual important book. I'm looking at the back, and there's quotes from the New York Times and Complex and IO9, because this is a book that really matters. It has something to say. It's smart, but even if you're not into sort of social commentary and stuff, it's a really cool, fun, crazy book. Kwanzaa, who writes it, is a mad genius and is going to be a super important writer in comics. And Jamal Igle, who draws it, was a DC artist for a while, has some great stuff at Action Lab, and I think this is his best work. And I'd be mistaken if I didn't say that Kari Randolph's covers were covers of the year. I said that online and said that he was robbed for an Eisner nomination, and it became a big thing. But I stand by it. His covers are as good as comic covers can ever be. And yeah, it's the whole package, and the book is $19.99. It's the complete first volume of probably best book of the year, I'd say. And my last pick is Royals, which I love. This has Javier Rodriguez on art. He doesn't always do the art, but he's amazing. But it's Al Ewing's story of the Inhuman royal family in space, cast out. And it's what Al does best, which is crazy, huge concepts made human and small and relatable and fun. Al came up in a very British tradition, 2000 AD, like you tell crazy ideas and make them really digestible, and he's as good at that as anyone in comics. And this is just such an underrated book. I feel like everyone should be reading Royals. So yeah, those are my pull list. So we're going to talk about my books, which makes me a little uncomfortable. We're going to do it anyway because that's my job. This is Punisher 218. If you haven't read the previous 217 issues, you sort of have to. It won't make sense to you all. No, it's not true. It's my first issue, and it's standalone. In the story, Punisher gets the War Machine armor. James Rhodes, Rhodey, who we all know and love, is dead, which is very sad. And Frank, who is not like Rhodey at all, decides to steal the War Machine armor, go on an epic geopolitical assassination quest, which is not good. So this is the first issue. It's in stores now. What else did I write? First volume of Secret Warriors, my Marvel book, with Javier Garrón and Israel Silva on art. They're geniuses and amazing. It starts in Secret Empire. You don't need to know a lot about Secret Empire. If you need to read Secret Empire, it ties in. If not, you'll be fine. But basically, it's a team of young Inhumans. It's Quake, Miss Marvel, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Inferno, and Karnak on a team where they don't get along, and they're out trying to save the world. So that's what this book is about. First volume's out now. Issue 7, which starts our second arc, is in stores now. We Can Never Go Home is my first creator-owned book with Josh Hood on art. And a lot of other people, my friend Patrick Kinlan, co-writing. It's a teen crime runaway book from Black Mask. It's $9.99. If you like what I do, I would suggest it. I like it. It's pretty good. And then my newest book is Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, which came out this week. I don't know when this is going to air, but, just came out. We'll say that. Myself, Tyler Boss, Thomas Maurer. It's about 4 children who rob a bank. It's a beautiful book. It is 200 pages, which is heavy, and it's nice. You can give people this for Christmas, and they won't know what it is, and that's nice. That's always nice. I like to give people things that surprise them. And it's, sort of a dark comedy, fun crime story somewhere in there about child bank robbers, which, is a genre we all love. So pick it up now. Thank you.